Hey guys, welcome to the CO Visit. Colin here. And of course, I'm always accompanied by my trusty coffee. Hmm. Happy hump day. Hope everyone's doing well. What's new out there in your world? How's things going? Well, let me know down in the comments. Make any comments, say hi. Like and subscribe if you haven't already. I'll say it here at the beginning. It won't cost you a thing. So actually, this is my second time because I just started the video and I can't do it, guys. I'm sorry. I can't do it. I tried putting my phone down horizontally and I can't stand when my camera is off to one side and then I have to look at that and I can't see myself, and it just throws me off because I need to be seeing myself. I need to be like I'm looking in the mirror and I'm talking to somebody. It helps me to kind of just move along and in my gestures and all of that. So anyway, I know a lot of people don't like it, but hey, we all got to get used to stuff. There could, there's a lot worse things in the world. So anyway, what I wanted to talk about today here real quickly, yeah, right, was in the community post that I did a while back about the survey, and I asked, kind of threw a line out there so you guys could let me know what things you want to see me talking about. And so there was a comment from my good friend John, and he was asking about cognitive reasoning and health as a topic of a video. Great topic. So I'm going to talk about that today. And of course, disclaimer, I am no expert in this field. Okay, I'm not a doctor or anything else like that. But you know what? It's not like that matters anyway today. Because you know why? Thanks to, politics and all this other stuff, people generally don't listen to experts as they should. And that's why we've gotten into a lot of the stuff that we've gotten in today. And that's why the world is the way it is. But I want to talk about that because you know what? I don't know a whole lot on the subject, but I definitely know something. I know what happens when people don't apply cognitive reasoning in their lives. And in this particular case, when we're talking about health choices and health decisions. So I want to focus on, for example, we all know right now, and this has been for a long time, the Watchtower Bible and Tract Society's stance on blood. A completely erroneous, misinterpreted, misapplied doctrine that has cost countless numbers of Jehovah's Witnesses their lives because they refuse to get a blood transfusion. Because the governing body uses that to dangle over your head with your salvation. That if you take a blood transfusion, you are disobeying, you are disregarding the sanctity that Jehovah places on life. And most likely, what will happen is you will die. You'll be executed in the end because you disobeyed. I mean, that's one of those things that radicalizes Jehovah's Witnesses that will not take a blood transfusion. Some people will. I mean, when push comes to shove, at the end of the day, and the liaison committee walks out the door and, they're there alone with their doctor, they'll do it if it means saving their life. But there's some people that are hardcore. There's some people that are, those Shiite witnesses that they'll go all the way. No blood. No, nothing. No fractions, nothing. No blood. Okay? And they'll choose to lose their life, unfortunately. And what they don't understand is they are making that decision with bad information on a false premise. You see, here's the thing, guys. Most people will never even think about a blood transfusion until they might possibly need one in their life. You see, that just doesn't come up. People aren't just, regular Joe Blows out there aren't just sitting around thinking about, hey, you know what? I'm going to do some research on blood transfusions today. No, nobody even thinks about that stuff. People go about their lives, you work, you do whatever, your families, and you don't think about that stuff unless something were to come up and it all of a sudden becomes a possibility. Then they might look into it and see what, the benefits are, the risks and all that kind of stuff. Okay? So when you're in that kind of a situation, and then let's say either you're born in or you convert, to the Jehovah's Witnesses, and right away they're going to push that on you. The whole no blood, and that's saying it's holy to Jehovah. Blood is life. This and that, and then they're going to tell you their spin on it, which is completely false. And then they radicalize you, and they get you all worked up. And you see, the thing is, guys, it's not even fear. It's the fact that it radicalizes people because it makes them feel that it's something that you absolutely cannot do if you want to survive, if you want to be either to pass through Armageddon into the new system, or if you die, to get resurrected in that new system. So people just look at that as it actually motivates people. It fires up that base of believers because it makes them feel that that's an ultimate test of their faith. And most people will do it. Sad to say. And it has happened. Lots of witnesses. And we've heard testimonies in the XJW community, unfortunately, of people who have lost loved ones because they refused a blood transfusion, okay? And here's the thing. So when we talk about cognitive reasoning, applying reasoning, logic, analysis when you're going to make health decisions, and making the best decision based on research and information that's out there from experts in the field. You see, guys, that's what you have to follow. Because when you start letting religious groups or politicians or other people get these ideas in your head that's going to affect how you make health decisions, well, then you are giving, basically, you're handing that responsibility over to somebody else. You're making health decisions that they want you to do, not what you want, nor what you need necessarily. And then whatever the consequences of that are, they're not going to get involved in that. You see, they're going to tell you what to do. They want to tell you what to believe, but they don't want the consequences. No, don't come to me with that. Don't even bring that over here. Because afterwards, you know what they're going to say? It was your decision. You made the decision. Even though we told you what to do, we influenced you, we said your salvation's on the line if you do it. But in the end, don't blame us because you made the decision. You see, they're going to, Watchtower will wash their hands and they will throw you aside. They will not take responsibility for it. So you know what? You cannot give that responsibility to them. You cannot make choices based on what other people tell you. You have to make choices for what is best for you. So the issue with blood, the problem is that, first of all, who is the Watchtower Society to be making medical decisions or analysis or research for anybody? Because they don't even do it. You see, the only reason they give, which is in the publications over and over again, it was in the old reasoning book, which doesn't exist anymore either, is that they tell people, the analogy they would give is that if you're an alcoholic and the doctor tells you you cannot drink anymore, you have to stop drinking, and you say, okay, doc, I won't drink alcohol anymore, but you transfuse alcohol with an IV into your vein, is that any different? You see, that's the reasoning that they gave. Just abysmally stupid. Abysmally stupid. I do know a little bit about this guy. I mean, I teach health at school, in middle school, so I know a little bit about this. I know the basics about biology and all that kind of stuff. But I'm just not an expert, but the basics. We're just talking about basics, guys. Basics. So obviously, yes, if you drink alcohol or if you infuse alcohol or transfuse alcohol through an IV into your body, of course, you're going to get the same effect. Just that through an IV, it's going to hit you instantly. It goes right to your blood, boom, to the brain, and there you go, because it doesn't go through the digestive system. That takes a little bit longer. It has to get absorbed through your stomach, the small intestine, and then into your bloodstream, okay? If you go through the vein, you skip all of that. But in the end, it's the same effect. And you know why it's the same effect, regardless of where you put alcohol? It's because alcohol is an engineered product. Alcohol is a type of food. It's a nutrient. And your body knows that. Thank God our human bodies are smarter than the Watchtower. Thank God. Because it's a food, okay? It's just like any other type of nutrient or food. Whether you eat food in your mouth or whether you have to take intravenously food and nutrients, that nutrient will go into your body, okay? Because wherever it goes, whatever via it goes through, okay, your body knows that it's food. Now, with blood, that's not the case. And this is what you need to know, Jehovah's Witnesses. This is what you need to research on your own. Don't read this in Watchtower literature. Blood is not food. You can eat it. Yes, you can eat anything. You can put anything in your mouth and eat it. Or, blend it up and then eat it, whatever, or take it intravenously. But blood is not food to begin with. Blood is a tissue. It's a tissue in your body. Blood is a living tissue. It's alive with its 4 components: plasma and red blood cells and white blood cells and all of that. Okay? Hemoglobin. Okay? 4 components. It's a living tissue. Now, if you ingest blood through your mouth, okay, it goes through the digestive system. And your body, thus, will treat it like food. And it will get digested, and then it will get absorbed into your body, the nutrients and all of that. But it doesn't go into your circulatory system, okay? It doesn't stay there because you took it as food. However, here's the interesting part. However, since your body is smart and your body knows blood, okay, when you get a blood transfusion with the same type of blood that's your blood type, through your vein, what do you think happens to the blood, brothers? Where do you think it goes? Does it end up getting digested? No. No, it doesn't. It stays in your circulatory system. It starts circulating and it becomes your blood, and it stays there forever. And it starts oxygenating your body, and it starts producing more, all this stuff. Because your body knows the difference. When blood goes into your vein, it knows that it's a tissue and that it's blood. Okay, so if you had that knowledge, brothers, then you would apply cognitive reasoning when you make a health decision. And you would realize that what it talks about in Leviticus, when Jehovah gave that law to the Israelites to not ingest, to not eat, it says, eat blood. That was a dietary prohibition. Dietary. Not medical. Dietary. Just like when Jehovah prohibited them from eating certain types of flesh of animals and birds and quadrupeds and this and that and ones that have a forked hoof instead of a single hoof and all of that. Okay? Jehovah didn't just prohibit them from eating blood. He prohibited them from eating many things, like pork. Okay? Because pigs have a cleft hoof. A cleft hook. Say that 5 times fast. Cleft hoof. Okay? So let me ask you this, brothers. Cognitive reasoning. Why do you not take a blood transfusion or eat blood, but you eat all these other things? You eat birds, you eat pigs, you eat insects. Some people do in some areas, okay? Why do you do that? The Bible says that's not allowed either. Okay? Yeah, I know what you're going to say. The vision of Peter later on when God said, stop calling unclean, and you had to all that. But still, it doesn't change the fact that we're not talking about eating here. Yes, eating was prohibited. Eating, dietary. But God was not talking about blood transfusions that could save your life, because blood is alive. Blood means life. So if blood, brothers, you see, it doesn't even make sense what the Watchtower says. If blood can save your life, you should take blood, because blood is alive. It's a living tissue. So you should not hold back from something that might save your life. Reason, analyze. That's because you're not making the decision yourself. You're using cognitive, instead of cognitive reasoning, dissonance, cognitive dissonance in your decision making. And the same thing happened out there, people. And I hate to say this because I know some people out there are going to get mad. Some right wingers are going to get mad and they're going to comment about this. Okay, because heaven forbid I say anything about your cult leader, Trump. Okay, but same thing happened with masks. Same thing happened with vaccines. Same thing is happening today with flat earth and all this other bullshit that's out there. Because this is why a lot of people died, guys. And not only died, why people infected other people with COVID. Because you let politicians and these nut job conspiracy theorists and all these other people and these First Amendment, it's my right, no one's going to tell me to put on a mask and all of that. If I don't want to, I won't, because my First Amendment. Okay? And yet, it's not your right to make other people sick. But why did that happen? Because people weren't listening to scientists and doctors and epidemiologists. They were listening to politicians who wanted to energize their base and get votes later on. That's why. It had nothing to do with medicine. It had nothing to do with scientific research. It had everything to do with fear-mongering, with pride, with nationalism, all of those things. And many of you out there fell for it, hook, line, and sinker. And many of you got COVID. Some others died, or they infected others. You might not even know it, because there were strains of COVID that people were asymptomatic. They had no symptoms. They had no idea. But they were still spreading it to other people. But no, let's demonize all of the experts. Let's satanize them. And let's listen to people who have absolutely no expertise in the field. You see, that's why, guys, cognitive dissonance in healthcare also is dangerous. It's dangerous. When we're living in a time with all this technology, more than any other time in the history of mankind, we have all the research and scientific information and everything right at our fingertips with these cell phones today. And people are more ignorant now than they ever have been, because they choose to be ignorant. See, ignorance in the past wasn't a choice. People didn't have access to education and knowledge. It was for a small group of people, elite people. But now everybody has access to information. So now what's the excuse? What's the possible excuse for all of this information being out there and people are still making ignorant decisions? Or they are relegating that to their religious leaders, politicians, and people like that. Those people should not be the ones making decisions about health. Politicians and religious leaders should not be making your health decisions. They should not be telling women what to do with their bodies. They should not be telling you to get a vaccine or not, or to wear a mask or not. They should not be telling you to get a blood transfusion or to sacrifice your life, because at the end of the day, Jehovah will resurrect you. Oh, really? Okay. A lot of these things are rhetorical questions, folks. This is the way I live. This is the way I believe. Okay? And I'm putting it out there. But we have to start using this and thinking for ourselves, and stop letting other people lead us and tell us what to believe and tell us what to think and tell us how to dress and tell us what to have, groom ourselves or have facial hair or not, and how we can have sex in our bedrooms with our wives and all this stuff. We have to stop being sheeple and start opening our eyes and making those decisions for ourselves based on the scientific and medical and all of that information that's out there in research. Not somebody's biased view because they want to control you. That's what the politicians do. That's what the religions do, whether you want to admit it or not. And I tell a lot of you people out there that have been fighting and arguing over different, political things and who's the president and who is right wing and left wing and Democrat and Republican and all this stuff. You need to get out more. Get out more, travel, go to other countries. I've been in Honduras for 22 years. I'm on the outside of the little bubble everyone there in the U.S. is living in, with all the division, with all the hate, with all the messaging there and the brainwashing and the indoctrination, because that's what it is. And now that I'm out of all that, my view is a lot different than many of you. And I'm not brainwashed by any of that's going on there, because I'm living in the country where none of that matters. We're just living real life every day, trying to survive, just trying to be good people, just trying to help others and put food on our tables. Okay? But when it comes to all this dissension and division and all this stuff going on in the U.S. today because of politics and religion and all this other stuff, people that live there, you can't see it until you get out of it. You have to get out of that and purge your system of all that, just venom and garbage and everything that you have in your soul and your body and your mind and your heart. And then when you look at it, you're on the outside looking in and watching all of it going on, you can see how ridiculous it is. Okay? So anyway, I probably said too much already. Thanks for watching, guys. I appreciate you always. And like I said before, keep following. Subscribe to the channel if something resonates with you. And let's just be good humans. See you in the next CO visit.